I go by Sana. This is Rubevelli,
I'm Rubevelli.
and we are Nino Santo. I do the vocals.
And I'm the beat producer. So I make the pulse and the rhythms for the group.
Sweet.
Yeah,
The
and
album sounds really legit. I was wondering like if that was on you for the like all the rhythms and stuff. So good.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
do you want to talk to us a little bit about your creative process? Like how you get this, how you're getting this work done?
Man, it's really just sitting, having late nights pretty much, and just
Mhm.
jamming out. I mean, it's not special really. It's just getting in there and doing some work.
Well, even if you don't feel like the process is special, the product certainly is. So
Yeah, for sure.
thanks for
how
doing
important
it.
is that time, dude? Is that time frame?
Oh man, it's very important. It's very
A
important.
late night, you mean?
Oh yeah, it's like 3 in the mornings.
God.
You know, that's when the creative flow comes out.
Do you just record it in your house? Like where did you guys record?
We're recording with our boy Niles
Mhm.
Quinn. So he's got like a studio set up at his home too. So he
Sweet.
recorded all the vocals, and then he did the mastering and the mixing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it sounds great. Was he involved on the music videos?
Yeah, yeah.
Broken Minds. Yeah.
Cool.
He was in there. He was in there like filling up a water canteen in one of the parts, and he helped us carry some stuff. It was fun.
Okay, yeah. It was like maybe the guy that was like up on the hill with you guys at the one
Yeah.
shot.
Yeah, that's Niles. Yeah.
It's really cool. It's really cool stuff. Speaking of music videos, I personally had a question. So video Sana, could you speak to that phrase? I personally speak a little Spanish. So I can translate it, but obviously there's a cultural context to the phrase colita de rana that I'm not familiar with, and I bet some of our viewers aren't. But I'd love to hear why you chose that for the refrain.
It's like something we grew up with our moms. Our friend said it very like better. Her name's Ana de la Tierra, and she said that it's like a spell. It's like a healing spell that moms use for their kids.
Mhm.
You know, so
Oh,
like
cool.
if you're like a kid and you fall and you like bump your knee or something like that, your mom will come and she'll like rub your knee. And she'll be like sana colita de rana.
It's to get you to stop crying, pretty much, huh?
Yeah, to get you to stop crying, to make you feel better. And it's like, I swear it feels good. You know, like it makes you feel better. You feel like, oh yeah, it's doing something. But like it literally means like heal, colita de
Oh,
rana.
yeah. And then of course you've incorporated that into your stage name.
Yeah. I
performer.
feel like what I'm trying to do musically is like I was already doing poetry before this.
Mhm.
And like my poems were like they were like a diagnosis of society, painting a picture so that hopefully people would be motivated to create change or just understand things. You know, I feel like we can't do anything unless we have a understanding. You know, we can't do anything unless we're from a point of truth. And so I chose that name as like a way of like I want the music to create healing.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like it's kind of like coarse and stuff sometimes, but I feel like it's necessary because it's part of the process. You know, you can't really heal anything unless you understand that you got like a knife in your leg or something. You know, like you're not gonna heal that with it in there. You got to see it first, and you got to pull it out, and then you got to go through the process. And like the two songs that we've released so far, like as music videos, because we released the whole project already last week. The two ones that we got music videos for, those are like kind of like more of that diagnostic process. But then we got some other healing songs like kind of towards the end of the album too that a lot of prayer songs and stuff too. So we're trying to just take it all those places. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like the ones that you have out right now, there's a lot of like direct confrontation of trauma. And then some of the ones later in the album seem like a little softer. That felt to me a little bit like kind of coming around to the more like getting to that healing. It's a really cool progression. And I know we both appreciated the way that it's very head on, you guys, with your, the confrontation of these like very real systemic traumas. And
Yeah, I feel like I really appreciated like how genuine everything is, like how you're just really direct with like how traumatic and difficult things can be, but that you can come back and like be healing and help, like the song where you're talking about your son and like raising your son is like, an act of like healing and defiance and like rising up. I just thought was like so beautiful, right? Like there's this pain in the album, but there's also this beauty and brightness, and I just like really appreciated that and thought it was beautiful.
There's always this understanding that we have historical trauma that's like going through our DNA, but I don't think people talk enough also about the resilience, that we have too. And I think like that's important to share that part of the story. I think that's why we wanted it to be well balanced, because sometimes I can go like really dark for like a really long time, but I was like, I don't want to take somebody to that place without like offering any type of solution, so I was trying to be conscious of that when we were creating this album. And like our name Nino Santo, like it's it like comes from this lady named Maria Sabina. She was a healer from Mexico, an indigenous healer, and she'd use mushroom medicine for her healing. And she'd call the little mushrooms, she'd call them Nino Santos, like
That's so
little like
cute.
saints. Yeah, yeah, like little saints. And our music, we're trying to like take people on a trip, and like anybody that's used like medicinal like mushrooms or psychotropic chemistry, right? Like it can be very intense, and it can really like take you out of yourself so you can see yourself, and sometimes it's not the nicest, but then afterwards it's like you usually come out better because you have that understanding. And so we were trying to kind of like take that approach of like all this stuff's happening, take people that aren't from our community to understand what it feels like to be in our shoes, and then people inside of our community to hopefully appreciate that these stories are being told, that
Mhm.
that we're not invisible, and so and then afterwards, like these different powers that we do have, because a lot of times when we're dealing with these things, like it's easy to feel powerless, it's easy to go
Sure.
down into despair, but we don't want that to be the route. We want people to understand that we can come together and like do things, but it has to come from a place of truth and understanding, and so that's why it's like I always got to be direct. Like, yeah, we can hug it out. Yeah, we can build some stuff. Yes, we're all people. I agree with that. That's facts. But we need to start understanding people's positions and like and where we come from, so that then we can have real conversations and build real relationships. It can't be like this thing
Absolutely.
where we're always coming and we have to conform to a white narrative, where
Yeah.
we have to like suppress parts of ourselves to be able to have this um wholeness or oneness that people talk about. It's like I don't really like when people say I don't see color and things like that, because it's
Yeah.
like I'm I am my color and there's nothing wrong with that, and other people have their colors too, and that's what makes life beautiful, is the diversity of it, and
Yeah.
so like we should celebrate those differences and come together and really come with like solutions. We shouldn't have to be like, it shouldn't be this power trip of like one group has to be under the other or something like that.
Absolutely. You have some like really cool, powerful lines about that,
Yeah.
about skin color and about the heritage. I love how your videos are kind of like a peek into things that you're doing, like especially your newer one. It's kind of like a little peek into into your life. But then when you talk about this, like nod to sort of psychedelic therapeutics and things like that, you can really see that in that video, the direction you took it. Do you have any more music videos in the works?
We got one that we're like sitting on right now that we're gonna release when the time is right, probably in like the next couple weeks.
Awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So we got that one. It's all like edited, ready to go. It's for that song on there called "The Void,"
Oh, cool.
and then we're
Nice.
gonna be making like another video. We just got a new project that we got to work on. Like we got like a 2 month deadline, so that one's gonna come out on its own time, and that's like separate from the album even. So we're just trying to keep it moving, trying to keep
Yeah,
up though too. It's like it's happening kind of fast, but it's good.
that's
It's
awesome.
good opportunities happening.
I love that part where you clipped in someone's voice where they were talking about what you're doing for the community and you're building up the community. I was
My brother
curious how that
Brian.
came about. What?
My brother Brian.
Oh, it's your brother. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Brad. You guys just did your big album release. And I know you did a virtual event for that, which is really cool, like creating in the age of COVID, right?
I know it's so difficult. Yes.
Do you have any reflections on that you'd like to share on that process?
I hope that pretty soon we could all get together and jam out,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it is different. Like being in front of a camera.
It's not the same. Huh?
Yeah, you don't get the same type of feedback because you don't see the people directly. Like unless if I was like all up in the screen, to like see what people are doing and if people have video back. But
Yeah.
still, it's not the same as like, when you're out there and you get to see like people giving you their energy, because sometimes people will like
Absolutely.
bob their head or something, or sometimes you just see people listening, like just straight up hearing you. And it's like, I mean, that's kind of what I get. Like, I don't know if like, I feel like our beats make people bob their heads and stuff.
Mhm.
But I think like a lot of times they listen to the words and I could see people kind of stopping and I'm like, oh shit, like, is that a good thing that they're not moving that much? But then I think it's just they're tuning into the words, so that's a good thing,
It's
but
definitely cerebral, so I could see that.
And like having that, yeah, that connection I feel like we all are missing that so much. But yeah, especially when it's like you're putting your art out there and then you want that connection feedback back, and it's just like it's just in a void right now.
Yeah, you're kind of just like putting it out there and you're like, ooh.
I know. I was talking to my friend Redfield Clipper. I had him on my radio show yesterday,
Mhm.
and we were talking about that and how like difficult it is right now because like as an artist, sometimes it's easy to feel misunderstood when you have a lot to say, and not a lot of times you have the opportunities to have real conversations with people that are receptive to your words. So like when you create art, you're having like really deep, intimate conversations from like parts of your spirit and your heart. And you get to share those with people. And when you get to do it live, it's very reciprocal. And it's like you get the
Mhm.
full conversation. But right now, it's like we're kind of in this place where we're creating and then we're just putting it out and we don't get to get that feedback the same way.
Sure.
So that's a little difficult, but it's challenging us to be more creative. Like we're doing a lot more with like video and stuff. We're trying to really just create good material for people to see that like takes time. We do spend a lot of time editing. Like that Sana video, like Rube, he recorded the whole thing and then we edited it together on our own. So like that was all us. So we're like taking on more roles,
Yeah,
You did a
learning
great
more
job.
things.
thanks.
Awesome, awesome
Um,
job.
Yeah, it's super dope. How did you feel like going through the process of like writing all these songs, writing all these beats, making this whole album and putting it all together and now like seeing it come together? Like what was it like a healing in itself to just do that act?
for me, I can speak for myself. It was, because there was a lot of lines that were really intimate in there. Some stuff that I even like question, like, is this something that I should be sharing with people? But
Mhm.
then at the same time, like I think it's important because a lot of times it's easy to feel like alone, when you're going through like difficult times. So I think like some of the stuff like doing that was therapeutic for me to get it off my chest. But then also like that song All We Need, like that was just a straight prayer for me. And every time I listen to it, it's still the same way. And I think that's like my favorite song in the album because of that. But
It's my favorite on the album actually too.
oh yeah, that's what's up. Yeah.
I love it.
Oh
It's
yeah.
really beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, it was for me. Well, how about you, Rube? Like,
As for the whole project, for me, it was I mean, it took us what, over 2 years maybe to get to this
wow.
point finally,
Wow.
and it was a lot of
Wow.
trial and error for sure, but
Definitely.
and a lot of growth came there, and we also met a lot of people on the way, so it was a whole journey for sure. But I'm grateful that it came out finally, and we're here.
Yeah,
We're
we
still
like
waiting.
we
Thank you
Yeah,
so much for sharing
we
this
we
it's
and
tried to
doing
do
this
it.
like work. I mean, it's
Yeah,
deep work to be so vulnerable. It's
yeah,
really, it's a real gift.
for
So
sure.
thank you guys.
yeah, for real. I really felt very inspired by it and was like these, like watching you guys show up in your music just made me be like, I want to be more authentic in the art that I produce. So thanks for that.
Yeah, we appreciate that. That means a lot. Yeah, and we're like just trying to like put on people in our community, like in our space. Like we're making smoothies in the video. Like that's what we
Yeah,
do. And then like
I
my
love
brother
that.
there, and he's someone that inspires me. He's like someone very powerful. So we're just trying to like tell the stories of like people that are doing things in our community. Like a lot of times we don't get those opportunities to hear that. And
Yeah,
there's a lot of beautiful people in our community. And like some people like kind of shit on Reno and treat it a certain way, and it's like I
sure.
don't think you're around the right people, man. Because I see like people
I agree
doing
with that.
all these like guest appearances from like people that are just
Yeah.
like hella close to us. That
Yeah, they're
are part
awesome
of our
artists,
life.
got Ruby Joe in there and
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like I think what we really want to do is like yeah, we're Nino Santo, and it's like me and my brother. But it's like there's so many people that support us that we're like connected to, and it's like we just want to like people to know that like we receive a lot of love and we want to give it back. Dope earrings too, by the way. Those are the ones that
Yeah,
Saw made.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, Leslie got a pair of those. Those are hella dope. Yeah,
nice.
and that's what's
Yeah.
cool too. Like seeing that, like it's like seeing other people just creating things. It's important. I feel like it's very spiritual.
Okay, so my last question was, what advice would you give to a young artist who wants to produce their own album one day and is like just starting to write music and stuff and wants to get to this level of having a full album come out, and making music videos? like what's the biggest piece of advice that you wish somebody had told you?
I mean, what really stunted our growth on kind of getting this out was we needed Niles to produce it and master it. Cause like before that, we tried doing it on our own. It sounded amateur, so it's like it wouldn't have gotten the point across. It would have been
Mm,
too much focus on that. I'd
gotten its own
say,
way in that way.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say anybody that's coming up and trying to do things to be genuine. You know, when people tell the same stories all the time, but tell them from your perspective. You know,
Mhm.
and be honest about it. You know, because I think like people sometimes want to do what's getting attention already. You can only give the best of yourself when you're actually yourself. You know, and if you want to be the best artist you can be, you got to be yourself first, you know? And if you need help along the way, then you got to find ways to get that help that you need. You know, like we needed Niles to help us do this. Once that came together, everything came together.
Yeah.
Like that's what we were missing. You know, before that we were trying to figure it out on our own and we were trying to just do it all and it was beyond our means at the moment. Like if you got to get the help, get the help. So right now we're getting this next project together. So he's really like knocking out hella material and I think that's really important too. As myself too as a writer, I write a lot. You know, I write a lot and you don't show everything to everybody. Some of the
Mhm.
stuff is just sketches you throw away, you know, but it keeps you sharp so then that when opportunity comes, you're prepared for it, you know?
Mhm.
Because it's like you could be prepared and then all of a sudden you're not consistent, so you don't get those opportunities. But preparation and consistency, when opportunities come, it all comes together, and then that's where creation happens in a way that can move you forward. You got to work hard, you know, if you want it because
Yep.
ain't no guarantees in this, you know, ain't no guarantees in nothing. I mean, we're
Absolutely.
just starting off. We're hoping that we can do something, you know, and it's like, and we're getting good feedback locally. Hopefully,
Mhm.
like once the COVID stuff passes, we can tour, and hopefully more people will be receptive to it. We got our project, and we're happy with it, so that's really dope. It's a good feeling, you know. It's one of
Yeah,
those.
absolutely.
It's so awesome to have both of you here and learn about the process and just
Mhm.
like how you produce this dope work. And yeah, I feel like Reno's better because of it, and it's gonna add a new
Absolutely.
layer to Reno, and that's really rad. And thanks for everything that you do. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, we're big
Guys,
fans.
thanks
Thanks for
for
Thanks a
having
having
us
us.
lot.
on.